to a great finish here tonight.
Classy, the maker of champions.
The giant WrestleMania.
I'm so sick of these people. You know, I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
I got that thing on me. I got that stick. I got that tool. I'm packing.
You must be some kind of a dumbass. And I will never retire.
You know, this aggression will not stand, man.
Now get that garbage out of here.
It doesn't matter what you think.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Ladies and gentlemen, after a long week of professional wrestling action, we are back once again after a brief hiatus. We are back once again with another edition of Friday Night Review. And of course, the lineup tonight looks a little bit different. But of course, I am your intro guy, I guess, for the evening. My name is Cam G. Of course, that right there to the top left of me, that is Scalz, and our new co-host, guest for the night, I don't know, but the man known as Will Gray, the voice of Rivet City Radio, our sister page over there. Go check them out as well. But gentlemen, how are we doing tonight on our Friday evening?
I'm just glad to be here, boys, to be completely honest.
Coming off of a banger episode of Smackdown, we got lots to talk about. It's going to be a good show.
Fair enough.
So let's get started.
Yeah.
What do we want to start with?
We can start from the top.
So this Cody Rhodes promo with Nick Aldis. Interesting, right?
To say the least.
Wasn't it weird how Aldis introduced him? Like, I just felt like it was off. Like, it didn't seem like it was something that Aldis wanted to do almost.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't really too in tune or paying attention to all this, really. You know, I was more intrigued with who they announced as his next Cody Rhodes' next opponent. I had about 5 or 6 different thoughts in my head as to why this is his next opponent. And like I said, the thing I came up with is, they're basically just pulling a money move, with the partnership with Prime. It just makes sense. They're trying to put the face behind, Prime. The man's got, his company's logo on the mat on every PLE. They've got the Prime hydration station on every show, Raw and SmackDown. So, it's just a money move, really. They're just putting him in that match just because of that, necessarily. Because other than that, I can't really think of what Logan has done to earn a WWE Undisputed Championship match. Now, another thought I had in my head too was like, is this going to be winner take all? I don't think so. I don't think that would make a whole lot of sense. I think Cody Rhodes would make a good United States champion. I mean, for crying out loud, the dude has red, white, and blue side plays. The man comes out red, white, and blue. American is in his name. His nickname. He just everything he does, it just embodies that title. Like it just would look good on him. Does he need the United States Championship? Absolutely not, because they're taking away one of the mid-card titles. So probably not. So it probably won't be a winner take all. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. But I'm looking forward to the match based off of the in-ring from the two of them, because we already know how fantastic Logan Paul is in the ring. We know how great Cody Rhodes is in the ring. The two of them, I think, are going to create magic, come king and queen of the ring. So I'm not opposed to it. It's just a bit of a head scratcher as to why that's his next opponent.
Bingo. Al is absolutely right in the comments. Saudi loves Logan Paul. And I just talked about this in a TikTok live last night or the night before. Saudi, although it's becoming more and more canon, like the pay-per-view, what happens there, like last year in Saudi, we saw title changes. That was the first time that had happened. With them making it more canon pay-per-view in their storytelling, I'm still kind of mixed on it because it's a bot show. The Saudi government pays for every ticket. They put every butt in the seat. It's automatically a sellout. I always liken it to the Collision in Korea pay-per-view in the 90s that Eric Bischoff and Inoki put on in North Korea. The government pays for it. They put the asses in the seats. The Saudi government tells WWE who to bring over, who to put on the card, and then they make it make sense leading up on TV. So I 1,000% agree with Al. This is just a WWE cash grab because Saudi wants Logan Paul.
To answer Allison's question, did Randy get hurt? No, I think he's just excellent at selling.
Yeah,
They
that
said
was
the
a
same
great
thing.
win.
They said the same thing at the chamber when he was, kept clutching his back. I think he's just great at selling.
Sean, first off, thank you for the resub. We appreciate the support. Second, God, no. We don't need Logan Paul for WWE champion at the moment.
I'm going to mute you.
And then Al right with the clapback. In regards to what you were saying about the title for title, I don't know if it is, because Cody did mention that's the one belt he needs for the Grand Slam. He also did put on Twitter 2 belts. So it could be going that route. And that would not be a bad way to get the belt off of Logan without really hurting him, because he lost to the champ. And then he could also kind of either drop the belt in a way, or he could relinquish his title and then they could do a tournament of some sort.
That leads up to SummerSlam where Logan wins it again in his hometown. Hey, I was actually going to suggest doing that. If he beats him in Saudi, he comes back. I got my Grand Slam. That's all I needed. He immediately drops the belt, and
he could drop it. He could drop it at Clash. He could fight twice in one night.
I don't think having him drop the belt and losing a match, because I think even if it's for the U.S. title, the Universal Champion getting laid out clean isn't going to be a very strong situation, because then that person immediately goes, fuck, why didn't I make it for the Universal title then? You know what I mean? Right. So like, this almost feels like a situation where we can all universally agree, pun intended, that none of us see Logan Paul dethroning Cody Rhodes in Saudi. Right? Like, that seems like a bit of a stretch. Not that I'm not that Logan won't be competitive or make it convincing at all, but if they do make it title,
he's not ready for the main championship.
Bingo.
Sorry, Sean. I feel bad for you that you fell asleep and missed Tama, because his entrance was fucking banging.
Yeah, it was a great entrance.
I don't know when the Tyson fight is, Al. That's the one thing I would need to find out. Because
it's in August.
If it's after SummerSlam, he could win it right back before that, like Will said, and then have the belt for the match for that fight anyway.
It's July 20th.
So it's the week before SummerSlam.
Before SummerSlam. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Howdy is coming back. My whole thing on Howdy is he's showing up at Clash at the Castle. June 15th, I think, is where he's showing up. So we'll see about that. But I'm okay with Logan Paul getting this match, because he is technically the second top tier guy on SmackDown's roster. He has the mid-card championship, and he's held that championship for longer than anybody else in WWE right now has held a title. So he's the current longest reigning champion out of anybody. So I don't think he fails. I don't think it's an issue that he is getting the title shot.
That's the point of a mid-card title, is to build those guys up, to make them seem like competitive contenders for that number one spot. So I think, if anything, Trips is doing a good job at making the mid-card mean something, because Gunther lost his belt, and then immediately everybody felt like he was a viable contender for the world title, even in defeat. And I feel like if Logan eats the L here, he will still be a convincing loss, because it's Cody, and then it won't make it it won't seem as far-fetched for him to win it back come SummerSlam or later in the summer or something once Cody were to relinquish it. I also feel like we do need some clarification because they both mentioned it. Then later in the episode, they said it was for a contract signing for the Universal title, but didn't mention it being title for title. And then Cody's on Twitter saying something. So it's like not even a left hand talking to the right hand thing. It's like 3 different pieces of the puzzle, and we're putting it together like it's an Uncle Howdy like flash. So I'm curious to see them clean this up because, again, he makes sense for the title shot. Checks a box. Title versus title could also make sense. Checks a box. But right now we're in this ambiguous gray area of what was said, what's going to happen, and what was done on social media.
Right. We just need to know how this match is going to, like, what's going to take place at this match. And
Bingo.
Al, we said that Cody would relinquish it. He wouldn't have to lose the belt.
Yeah.
What do you mean? And in reference to your other comment, can we stop having people carry 2 belts?
She doesn't want Cody to have 2 belts, even just long enough to relinquish it. She thinks giving 2 belts to people is, in a roster this size, there's no reason for one person to have 2 titles at the same time, is her point.
No, I understand her point, but that's not something WWE has done in the recent, have they?
No, not at all.
No, it's been a minute since they've had a double champ.
The only time I could say that is you could say that they did was Roman when he won the 2 belts, but they unified them. Unless you're counting the tag belts as carrying 2 belts.
That's also true if you counted that, but
they were calling it the unified titles as well, or undisputed, whatever they were calling it.
yeah.
So I don't know if that necessarily could be considered that. I think it would be nice to see Cody come out with both belts on, come down to the ring, and then give a speech and then relinquish the title.
That would make the most sense.
And then you have a match to get, and then you have it set up for Clash of the Castle where the new champion is crowned. That would be the way to go for me, at least.
I mean, I don't think he looks weak if he loses the United States Championship. I don't think so. I think it would whoever beats him, I think it just boosts that it boosts them and it boosts that championship. That's the way I see it. I don't think it makes him look weak at all.
I get what you're saying, Al, how they were carried around, but they were not considered separate titles. They weren't defending separately. They were considered one belt. Whether they were carrying 2 belts or not, it still was one title.
It's just like I explained this to somebody too. With that, because there was this whole debate about the whole two belt thing. It's the same thing when Jericho won them way back in the day. They were one. That was one title. It was two belts. Yes, he's physically carrying 2 belts, but they act as one title. So, yeah.
All right. So moving on from this, we had Kayla backstage interviewing AJ Styles, which was I was loving the interview segments they had tonight. AJ Styles was great. You had a Randy Orton one later on. So it was very good with the way they progressed all the matches and previewed the matches tonight, as well as the video package that we saw throughout the night. What do you guys think of Alicia Taylor being on SmackDown now, moving up from NXT?
It's going to take time to get used to for me, but she's fantastic. I think she's done wonders for NXT and the presentation for each of those superstars in NXT. And it's just gonna, to me, it's just gonna give more. It's just gonna give SmackDown more of an NXT kind of feel. Because I don't care where they move her. She's always, to me, going to be the voice of NXT. So anywhere she goes, it's just gonna feel like NXT for me.
I mean, she's done it for. I feel like it's been like 5 years now that she's done that. So
it feels like it, yeah. So, but good move. I mean, she's been in NXT for long enough. Time to move her on to bigger and better things.
That's not an AJ Styles thing, Alice. That's a WWE thing, I think, in regards to dyeing the beard. Let's see. Then we had the first match of the night, which was Naomi versus Nia Jax. Did you? I don't know if you were watching yet, Will. 'Cause know
I
you weren't.
started this match. I didn't finish it. I left in the middle of this match.
Cam, what do you think of this match?
This is honestly impressive for a Nia Jax match. I'll give you that. Because I'm not really the biggest fan of Nia Jax. Don't know if I ever will be, but this was impressive. I definitely thought this match was a banger. For me, I feel like Naomi carried this match. It sucked. It obviously it hurts me that Naomi didn't win this match because I really feel like she should have. Because like I said, I feel like Naomi is one of those people that she can lose 3, 4, 5 matches in a row and still come out and just do her typical, monster heel thing and ruin matches and cause DQs and throw people around and da 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 da. It wouldn't affect her negatively, right? So I didn't think she needed to win here. I think Naomi definitely needed to win here, especially coming off of a loss at Backlash. So that's my only problem. My fear is that she's going to end up probably winning the women's SmackDown bracket, which I hope not. But yeah, I think they're going to have her make it pretty far in this tournament. But other than that, though, this was a great match.
Yeah, I enjoyed this match. Nia Jax has got a lot better since she came back for her second run in WWE. All of her matches have made sense. She's done a great job in the ring. So this match was not the best match of the night, but definitely could be up there with one of the better matches. Right after this, we had Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven. And WWE has done something with Jade Cargill that AEW could never do, in my opinion. And that's make her show emotion. When she came out to the ring with Naomi, when she saw Bianca Belair later on, she just, you're getting engrossed in what she's doing. It's not just about her coming out, squashing somebody and leaving. She's putting on good matches. She's getting better every time she's in the ring. And tonight was a perfect example. Yes, she looked like she got tired out in Backlash because the match went on for quite some time. Tonight, she did not. She seemed to be at a better pace. And then she picked up Piper Niven and jaded her. Come on. You got to give her some credit.
I hate that Piper got chewed up by Jade. I'm a big Piper Niven fan. I think that when I saw the bracket and I saw who she was set next to, I said, okay, it sucks because she's going to take a first round loss because I knew there was no way Jade was losing here. Piper's one of those people that unfortunately, no matter how good she is, she'll forever be on the same roster as a Jade Cargill or a Bianca Belair or a Charlotte Flair or a Becky Lynch or a Bayley. You know what I mean? She can be a 9 out of 10 rock star superstar, but when you've got 5 and 6 generational talents ahead of you on the same roster, it's kind of a kick in the kneecap for your career. And we've seen it throughout time with a lot of people. D'Lo Brown historically is one of those guys, you know what I mean? Phenomenal worker, but he spent his entire career in the mid card because he was on the same roster as Stone Cold and The Rock. You know what I mean? That's just the notorious nature of but without the mid card, yada, 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 the main event doesn't mean as much. And those superstars and all the cheesy cliches that people say about wrestling. As a fan, though, I really love Piper Niven, and it sucks to watch her lose early, but I'm probably right now an even bigger fan of Jade Cargill. So I'm okay with Jade getting a win and looking strong against a good opponent like Piper.
And I don't feel even Piper looked weak in this. They still made her look strong. She got a lot of offense in. And this was a great match for both of them. Cam,
Absolutely.
what was your thoughts on this match?
I mean, excuse me. I'm kind of with Al. I mean, not with Al, with Will on this. I'm with Will on this one. I'm a Piper Niven kind of guy. And I definitely first of all, I definitely want to see them separate her from Chelsea Green eventually. I think she'd just be better off on her own. Honestly, I really do. I'm hoping to see her versus Bayley at some point for the championship. I think that'd be a banger. So yeah, I'm more of a Piper person. to me. I don't know if I'll ever really be a fan of Jade. And it's not a thing where it's like, oh, I liked her over there and I don't like her here. I didn't like her over there either, really. I really didn't. I mean, she has improved for sure. The back and everybody's talking about her backlash match. I think in her backlash match, she definitely showed a lot of improvement in the backlash match as well. Just her sheer athleticism, I think, is impressive. Obviously, it just shows me now that someone the likes of Charlotte is no longer the most athletic person on the roster anymore. Now you have someone the likes of a Jade Cargill now, so there's competition there in the athleticism department. But just her overall like movements just in the ring, it just feels to me, it just feels robotic. Like I don't know, it just doesn't look natural. It's again it's gotten better, but just her overall just selling and just movements and things of that nature just look kind of robotic in a way. But I'll give her credit where credit's due. She has improved. Obviously she's impressively strong. She picked up Piper, as you said before, Scalz. But yeah, there was no way that she was losing this match. Well, I knew she wasn't going to lose this first round match. These 5, 6 minute, 7 minute matches, those are her sweet spots. When she starts to look gassed or whatever, that's the tank is running on E at that point because the matches are running too long. So I don't really see them putting her in longer matches than this. So this is that sweet spot for her. So, good for her, I guess. And looking forward to seeing what else they have for Jade Cargill moving forward.
One of my favorite phrases in wrestling is, if you can't work 5 good minutes, you don't need 10 minutes, you don't need 15. And I feel like Piper has proven that she's starting to show, I can go out there and I can work 5, 6, 7 solid minutes weekly on television. I think she's more than proven that she's ready for that bump in her time slot. Give her that 10 minute, that 15 minute, give her a full segment to show what she can do. She's more than capable of working that time. And I know I hate being that person that go back and watch. But if you go back and watch her stuff in the UK and in NXT UK, like she was beast mode, like full blown, like she is what, and it's ironic because I cringed a little bit when you said like you're kind of anti Nia Jax and you don't know if you ever will be, because this most recent run in Nia Jax is the most convincing run of her career, including when she was a Raw Women's Champion and stuff. That's why I'm like, wow, man, if this one isn't winning you over, there might not be a Nia Jax that can do it then, because this is the best version of her she's ever had. But I think Piper could be as powerful as Nia Jax was as a world champion down the road, because Nia showed you that a person who works like that and talks like that and does everything that Piper does can be a convincing champion. Not that Nia was then, but they showed you they could put the belt on somebody like that. You don't have to be a Alexa Bliss or a Charlotte Flair,
But so we had Jade Cargill win this match, and now we're going to be having Jade versus Nia Jax in round 2. Do we think Jade takes the loss next week, or do we think Nia is going to lose? Because
that's tough.
I could see Jade beating Nia, especially after what happened in the Royal Rumble. But then I have Jade losing the following week. I don't think Jade's going to be going to the finals, because I think they have bigger plans for someone that's in the other side of the bracket.
I mean, I would say to sort of the issue that we were just talking about off camera, to sort of get one of the reigning tag team champions out of this tournament, I think Jade takes a loss here, because we don't need to have them keep going through this tournament and etching closer to having them be the finals for the Smackdown bracket. So I think one of them's got to lose. So I think Jay takes a loss here.
See, I have it the other one. I think Bianca's going to lose next week.
Who does Bianca got next week? Remind me.
Well, we don't know yet, because that match is going to be happening this weekend at the house shows.
You're right. That's the house show match. Totally.
It's Michin versus Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, it's going to be Tiffany.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Tiffy time, right?
And I think Tiffy time's going to beat Bianca and then Jade and go to the finals.
let me derail it for a second and just ask the apparent question. Even me, who has been a Tiffany naysayer for months, I keep saying, "Show me you can work. Show me you can work. Show me you can work." I'm looking up the fact, like how many matches she's worked and stuff. She's green as grass. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. But at the same time, every week she goes out there and shows me she can work. So okay, same thing I said, Logan Paul. As long as you put out banger matches, I'm going to be okay with you. Which one means more to Tiffany this year in 2024 in her career? Giving her Money in the Bank and that ridiculous Barbie pink briefcase we know she would carry around, or making her Queen Tiffy? Which one do you think would do more for her as far as moving her to the head of the line for that title picture?
Money in the Bank, for sure.
Who do we think is going to come out of the Raw side for the Queen of the Ring tournament, though?
I don't know.
Because
Good
that
question.
could depend on it also.
It's a good question, sir.
Who do we have on the women's side? Let's see.
I'm looking it up.
Because I don't remember off the top of my head.
I watched Raw, but I've slept since then.
It doesn't show. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Here's the bracket.
You still got Shayna Baszler and Zelina Vega in it. Io Sky obviously beat Natalya. Lyra beat Dakota.
And Zoe Stark.
And Zoe Stark beat Ivy Nile.
So if they go the route that I think they would, it's going to be either Io or Lyra versus Tiffany in the finals. And you can give it to Lyra Valkyria. Have Tiffany lose to her, and then Tiffany wins Money in the Bank.
Ooh, do you think they would make Lyra Queen of the Ring, though?
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't they?
What better way to stamp a new face that just got called up than to make her Queen of the Ring?
My question is, though, and this is what I've been bringing up my argument for the Queen and King of the Rings. I'm not saying anything against Lyra. Love Lyra. She's baby Deonna Purrazzo. I've been saying it since her debut. Like, she's a fantastic worker. I think she needs to grow on the mic some. I don't think there's anything wrong with her. But my question is, you look at Queen Zelina winning the first one last year or 2 years ago, and then Xavier Woods and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is still technically owed a title shot from his King of the Ring that they never gave him. Xavier Woods never got a world title shot during his reign as king. Zelina didn't get hers until Backlash after she had already dropped the Queen of the Ring gimmick anyways. So to me, it's like, if you give it to Lyra and you want to build her and push her, then you have to let her take that world title shot then. You see what I mean? Even if she has to eat the L. Like, you have to make this is one of those shots where they have to make King and Queen of the Ring mean something this year. So whoever wins this tournament on both the men's and the women's bracket have to be convincing going into that world title shot. Because if they go another year and don't give these people titles, next year when they go to do it, the IWC is going to shit the bed and go, what the fuck does it even matter who wins this tournament now?
And that's the key element you just said there. That's the thing. You can say you can make the argument for the most recent years of King and Queen of the Ring haven't really meant much because they either didn't get their title shots or they got the title shots much later after they already dropped the moniker of King and Queen or whatever, right? Not in this regime. I don't think Triple H is going to do that. I just don't. He cares too much about. He cares too much. That's the thing. That's what's so crazy, right?
He cares about the history. If
this was still the VKM era, he wouldn't care. I don't care. Just have a moniker and get out of my face. I don't.
Oh, you have a silly accent, perfect for King of the Ring. Or you know what I mean? Like, that's how Vince thought. To be honest,
we'll give you a royal entrance theme music and just go trolley off to the back. I don't.
Nobody's using Pomp and Circumstance right now. It's good shit.
I don't care. Triple H, however, he's not going to do that. He's not just going to. He's just not. Especially these NXT babies. He's not going to do that to them. They're going to be protected coming up from NXT, unlike in the past when they haven't been. You know what I mean? So I've put full 100% faith in Triple H in doing this proper this year. I don't think he's.
I
gonna
hope
do
so,
that.
Cam. I hope you're
And
right. I love
you would
for
get
that.
back, and that's how you get back to Becky versus Lyra.
Oh shit! Just give us the fucking pencil, Connecticut. Let us
Yeah.
come up there and run your books.
Because if you could have that happen right at Clash, that's Becky's opponent in Clash right there.
There you go.
And
There you
then July, Money in the Bank, Tiffy Time takes over, and we get the pink briefcase on the Friday night after it.
And it fits our gimmick too, right? Because she's a heel, right? So most heels that win that briefcase, what do they always what do they always become? They essentially adopt the moniker of Edge, who arguably did the money in the briefcase thing cash in the best, besides outside of Seth, and now recently Damien. They become the ultimate opportunist.
It's so funny because everybody thought that Damien was never going to do anything with it. They thought it was going to be forgotten about, that he's had so many failed attempts, he's never really cashed it in, blah, blah, blah. And look, he has the second biggest cash in of all time.
And that's why it was so great, right? Because people were just like, they initially just gave up on it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I mean, these tournaments can be a big thing for WWE if they're done the right way, and it's a great way to get these people over and instant stars. But let's talk about the first match that we had from the SmackDown side tonight. You had Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes. What a way to get Corbin's introduction back on the SmackDown. Because going off of somebody that you've recently dealt with down in NXT, you're comfortable with him. You had good matches with him down there. You went after the title against him down there. And then for him to come out tonight as a babyface, just a little bit weird.
very weird.
He's high-fiving the fans as he's walking out. Like, what the hell is this?
What is going on?
But this match was a freaking banger.
Absolutely. No, yeah, this match was fantastic. Again, like you said, to your point, Baron Corbin coming out and being the face in this was odd, but it's a bit refreshing though, right? Because I mean, he's just always been a heel on the main roster, so it's something different for sure. And then, like I said, Carmelo Hayes, obviously, it's not even surprising anymore. The man just always impresses every time he's in the ring, no matter who he's in the ring with. And this is another matchup that I didn't really see. Obviously the new call up being Carmelo Hayes losing this first round matchup. So, but they've got something brewing with him and Bobby, which I'm looking forward to. I'm not sure who's going to be the heel, the face in that, but I'm looking forward to that, obviously. So maybe that plays a part at some point in this tournament. I don't know. But yeah, this match was incredible. This was awesome.
Yeah, that was just a straight banger of a match. Carmelo and Baron, they did a great run in NXT. That was for the title at the time, right?
It was.
Carmelo still had the belt then.
Mm-hmm.
That in between times for me before I started watching NXT regularly again.
Before I got you watching NXT.
Yeah, before you got me in there weekly. But that's my thing. I think that Baron is a lot like Balor and a lot like Mandy Rose, where he was kind of floundering on the main roster with a lot of like missed moments. And then he went back to NXT, found his footing with that crowd, really got super fucking over. And now he's coming back to the main roster as kind of like that new version of himself. So I think him eating an L here to Carmelo, who has the rocket ship right now, he'll be an IC champion or a US champ, within probably the next year, I would imagine. So hell yeah, I'm here for it. Just a banger of a match for the first round tournament.
And it's not like he even lost the match. Like, you had Hayes steal it from him. He went for the end of days and he just turned it into a roll up, and it was just like 1, 2, 3 gone, and then he out of the ring. Like, it was just a great way to keep Corbin looking strong in his re-debut on the main roster. After this, you had Kayla interviewing Bailey. She said she has a favorite. She wants to see how far her card will go. And then Chelsea Green and Piper Niven interrupt her because Piper was taking on Cargill later on in the show. And I love Chelsea Green. Like, she's just great at what she does. No matter where she is in NXT, on Raw, NXT, SmackDown, she's just great right now.
Agreed, 1,000%.
Saxton interviews Randy Orton. This was a freaking low-key banger of an interview from Randy Orton. Like, he just showed so much emotion, and it was great. Like, when Randy gets into shit like this, you know he's gonna have a freaking banger of a match in the ring. And it's all leading up to him going back at the bloodline. And I'm excited to see what happens there because he's blaming that, like he blames them for injuring Kevin Owens, his friend, his tag team partner. And I'm excited to see where this is going to go.
I think Randy right now may be the hottest commodity on the SmackDown roster, not named Cody Rhodes. If I were WWE, we saw
I think the bloodline begs to differ.
Well, let me explain a little bit then, because I said earlier that I felt Cody I'd use the analogy a lot on botch spots, that what happens when the dog catches the car, right? Like when you have this super over babyface champion, he gets to the top of the mountain, he becomes your champion, the face of your company. What do you do with him then? And WWE and Uncle Dave, again, it's Uncle Dave, grain of salt. Little Salt Bay for you. WWE themselves have said right now Cody's in a holding pattern. They don't have long-term stories for him. They're just going to be throwing these little one-off feuds his way, right? To me, I think what was more important than getting the belt off Roman and on Cody would have been how to solidify Cody as a powerful champion, because not building a story will give him Adam Page syndrome. And what that means is everybody's stories around him seem bigger. When Adam Page was the AEW champion, MJF was a huge story. You had Daniel Bryan and CM Punk coming in. All of the things happening around the company made Adam Page's AEW title run seem less important. Right now, I'm not saying Cody's run is unimportant, but what I'm saying is the Bloodline Civil War seems huge right now. This Drew CM Punk story is huge right now. You know, like you've got all the turmoil in the Judgment Day right now. And Cody's like, I'm your champ. What do you guys want to talk about? Like, I'm sorry. And I wasn't a Cody crybaby. And I wasn't a Roman dick rider or whatever, you know, Twitter was calling him. I don't remember. But like, I wasn't either. I'm just somebody who likes really good wrestling. And I've been blessed the last few months with some fantastic fucking wrestling across the board. To me, though, coming out of the biggest story for that title, not having something in the chamber ready to go for Cody seems like a whiff. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of I think they were just overwhelmed, right? I mean, you have all this booking for 3 years or whatever, the better half of 3 years. You know, you have this story starting from WrestleMania 40 going into 41. There's just not, or should I say 39 to 40. There's just not really, and that's kind of what I was thinking with this whole thing with Cody right now, storyline wise, is what's next? They and I think they're kind of asking themselves the same question, right? So I don't really think they realistically know where to go from here. I'm fine with one-offs for now, but that's not sustainable 4 or 5 months from now. You can't keep doing
the
that.
shark
It's just
then?
not.
Stealing a phrase from Scalz, he said it the other night when we were watching Dynamite. Did they jump the shark by declaring it a new era and blah, 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 and making it this big infamous, adding the end game on the now forever stuff in the beginning, like making it a new era? And then you open this new era with just, I'm not saying it's not bad wrestling, because Cody's putting out the Carmelo Hayes Cody Rhodes match, phenomenal. The match against AJ Styles at Backlash, fucking banger of a match, right? But my thing is, great wrestling matches are only 50% of the equation. You have to have a story that's compelling to put an ass every 12 inches week after week that makes you tell a convincing story. Cody having nothing but one-off feuds to start this new era, in my opinion. And again, I'm not yucking any yums. I'm not Triple H. I'm not, Nick Khan. I'm not Bruce Pritchard. Thank God for that last one. But I feel like they should have had something in the chamber for Cody coming out of WrestleMania to make it push through this historically lull season between Mania and SummerSlam. This 2.5 or 3 months, whatever it is, from April to August, is the second most droll period in the wrestling between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble. Like, this is that dead period where we need something exciting, and it was the perfect opportunity to make you go, holy shit, Cody's first opponent is Carmelo Hayes? You see what I'm saying?
No, I mean, hey, I'm not disagreeing with that. They definitely should have had something prepared coming out of this. But what I'm saying is, like, that's kind of my point is they got so caught up in what the overall focus was him, ending this historic reign from Roman Reigns. It was basically like their drug, they just got high off of that. And then when they come down off the high, they're just like, we're in trouble because we don't have anything.
Look, as an
So
ex-criminal, like, you can't get high on your own supply, guys. Trust me.
That's what they did. So I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I like what they're doing now. They're starting to set up the feuds a little bit more. You have this going on with the King of the Ring, so I feel like they can get an opponent from that. They have Cody setting up this one-off match with Logan Paul. So there's a lot of things that they can do with it. I don't know if Cody's going to hold the belt until next year's WrestleMania, because they do have a long-term plan for that. But I don't know if he'll still have the belt at that time. At that point, who could we see taking it off of him, though? Are we going to get Randy Orton taking it off of him?
How many title reigns does Randy have overall? 13, 14? So he needs 2 more?
I think he needs 2 more to tie. 3 to break it.
Fucking better get on it then.
Exactly. That 1.5 years that he was out with injury
hurt
him.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
no,
there
Al.
you go.
No, Al. Sorry. Damien should not have cashed in on Cody.
No,
dude, that would have been
that
wild.
would have happened.
No.
If that would have happened at WrestleMania, you thought the backlash for Drew losing that quick would have been bad?
No.
You would have had.
I was pretty okay with Drew losing it, honestly. Like,
it was a mixed reaction.
Yeah.
You had a good mix of it. If Damien would have done it against Cody, he would have got booed out of the building.
Pro wrestling Twitter would have had a conniption, That would have been bad.
What's going on, Jamie? How are we doing tonight?
Hi, Jamie.
Yeah. After we had the Carmelo Hayes and Baron Corbin match, we had Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven. We touched base on this a little bit earlier. Good match from Jade. She ends up getting the victory. She is going to be taking on Nia Jax next week. The next segment we went into was Bianca versus Candice LeRae. Now, I thought they could have went a different way in this match, and you could have had the full heel turn happen for Indy Hartwell to join Candice LeRae in the heel aspect of things, but no. They had Bianca Cena show up and beat 2 people again. Like, Bianca does not need to win every match she is in.
Yes, she does.
No, she does not. She had a bad knee from it being attacked throughout the entire match. And all of a sudden now she can pick Candice LeRae up in the KOD.
When you Hulk up, man, anything is possible.
Yeah, she's not Hulk Hogan. You don't want to have that comparison.
Or that's just bad selling. I don't know.
I think Bianca's great. I don't think she should ever lose again. She should have all the titles, including the men's titles. Fuck Cody.
Okay.
Anyways, I mean, I know yuckity yums will, but come on. Like I said, this would have been a perfect time for her to lose.
I think that Candice, in all seriousness, is one of the most underappreciated women's wrestlers on that roster because you're 7 years removed from her winning the PWG tag team titles by herself. You know what I mean? I think it was about 7 years. Like that end of the run, the same time Generico and Steen and them were getting ready to come over as well. She won the PWG tag titles by herself in a men's division and made it convincing. You know what I mean? Like Candice LeRae's a beast. I said for a long time that I thought Candice LeRae was the best worker in the Gargano house. And I still think with the right push, she could be a convincing. She is one of those people, a lot like, in my opinion, for Liv Morgan, is the quintessential example of why the main roster needs a mid-card women's title.
Well, they're starting one in the NXT, so hopefully that means there's one coming for the main roster soon.
Video testing. They're going
Maybe
to test
two.
that shit in NXT, and then they'll run it on the main roster like it was their idea the whole time.
Yep. Yeah, so I think Bianca's I think Bianca's going to lose to Tiffany Stratton next week, and you're going to get Tiffany versus Jade, or Tiffany versus Nia in the semifinals to get to the finals. I don't think they're going to do Bianca versus Jade yet because they still are tag champs. You can't have them go against each other this soon in their run.
I think that any sooner than WrestleMania next year is too soon to break them up. My biggest worry when I saw the bracket was how to make it make sense so you didn't have to have them, either both of them take an L or them have to fight each other this soon. So I would like, in a perfect world, for Tiffany to beat Bianca and then Tiffany to take the L against Jade and then Tiffany use that as the kick in the ass she needs to go to Money in the Bank and get that dumb pink briefcase. Yeah,
I'd be okay with that. I just don't want Jade winning this tournament. She doesn't need it.
it's cloudy in Middle Tennessee, Shadow. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't see them right now.
Yeah, we can't see them from where we are. We're not like you that can go outside in our backyard and look up and see the northern lights.
No. There's a big aurora cloud passing over right now. You can see them as far south as Alabama. Like where you're at, I bet you guys could get great views of them.
Really?
100%. This is like a once every 100 years kind of
I might
thing.
need to go outside then once this is over.
Everybody take a break, 5 minutes. Shadow, you live at the North Pole, bro. Of course you can walk in your front yard and see them, my dude.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, front yard, not backyard. Big difference. Anyways, next we had the backstage segment with with the Bloodline with Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, and you can't say enough great things about Paul Heyman. You can't. The way he just is involved in everything and the way he just exemplifies and acts through everything is just amazing.
I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think so.
He's pretty great, just in general in any Hall of Fame.
Just his shock when Solo said, "Well, I've spoken to Roman." Like, it was just amazing to me the way he just can change on a dime. And I'm very curious to see where this goes. Because this is going to be a great story altogether. What do you guys think of this segment in the back.
I called it. I said in the beginning, I said Solo Sikoa is literally the one calling the shots. But of course, the IWC is calling, which was at the time, they were calling me crazy, going, "Oh no, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. It's The Rock, blah, blah, blah. It's the final boss, da, da, da." It's like, okay, whatever. And then you heard it tonight from his mouth. I'm the one calling shots. I said this from the beginning. So, yeah.
I think the build up here and Paul and everything he does is that wavering point for the bloodline civil war. Because if Paul was true and Roman told Solo to call the shots, you would assume that Paul would know that. But he said he hasn't spoken to Roman since WrestleMania, so maybe he doesn't know. Maybe Paul's on the outside, but one would assume Paul would never be on the outside. Paul's like Littlefinger from Game of Thrones, right? Like nothing gets in or around or by him without his consent. So I think that at the core of it, me and Al had a conversation earlier towards the end of Smackdown about how Paul has kind of been the person like pulling the trigger and making everything happen the whole time. But now Solo's kind of out of control with it. You know, like Paul poked the bear and let him out, but now he can't rein him back in because Solo's uncontrollable. You know, so it's this, and Paul's killing it. Give the man the fucking Golden Globe or Emmy or whatever it is, like cinema.
So that we had the match next, Angelo Dawkins versus Tama Tonga, and they instantly made Tama look like a star, like the entrance star level caliber. Like, you don't think so, Cam?
No, they didn't even need the entrance to make him look like a star. He's already looked like $1 million up to this point.
But I'm saying, like, every person, like, they always have to have that big entrance, and you got to give credit to the Def Rebel on this one. This actually works. Like, it's not a cheap ripoff of something, or it doesn't sound like crap. This actually works. You had the great entrance to it. He came out, great match versus Angelo Dawkins. Bloodline destroyed everybody, went over perfectly. After the match, they all raised the ones. You have Paul Heyman in the back, raising it high. As Solo turns around, Paul's like, "Look, I have it up. I have it up." Like, just like, "I'm here. I'm doing it." Like, don't attack me.
Hey, like I said, if in the previous chapter of this whole storyline, if Seth Rollins was the MVP at WrestleMania, in this chapter, the MVP is Paul Heyman. I don't care what anyone says. Great stuff.
Agreed. I feel real bad for Butch Reed. That's what I'm going to start calling Angelo Dawkins now, is Butch Reed. And that sucks because, like, Montez Ford is going to eventually become this huge, just rock star of a singles competitor, a la Ron Simmons when Doom broke up. And poor Angelo Dawkins is going to be the Butch Reed in that scenario. And it's not a Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels scenario, because Marty Jannetty like floundered the rest of his career. Butch Reed went on to have a fantastic career, wrestled Flair for the world title. So, like, there's been lots of things that have happened for Butch Reed, and I think Angelo Dawkins is going to fall in that side of wrestling history, where he had a fantastic run as a tag team wrestler, and then when Montez breaks out, Dawkins on his own is going to be a lifetime mid-card wrestler.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. I just think that's again, like kind of like I was saying with Piper. It's unfortunate to be as good as he is, but your tag team partner be that great.
Okay, Al. That doesn't mean Angelo Dawkins won't do it.
That's true. That's true. She watches that.
Tess says that he never will do it. That does not mean Dawkins won't.
She watched that WWE show on Hulu with Montez and Bianca and them.
I mean, realistically, all they got to do is present them with the right storyline, and that could change their mind like that. So,
but if Tez is saying this on the show, they're already setting it up to where Dawkins turns heel on on
It's coming.
on Tez. Like, so I could see it happening at some point in the future. I know they were teasing it a while back and they got away from doing it, but I think eventually something will happen where it does. Yeah, I know they didn't break up the New Day. They also had them as a whole different scenario when they started.
That's very true.
So we get to the main event, and man, these King of the Ring matches on both nights have been fucking bangers. AJ and Orton tore this fucking house down. The crowd was into it. They were loud, everything. They were singing Orton's theme when he came out. Like, I don't know. I think they didn't want to be showed up by the French crowd in Backlash.
Too late.
Like they were trying to show that we could do that shit here too. Like, what'd you think of this match, Will?
Match of the night, but you would expect it from Orton and AJ. You put those two, that could be the main event of a pay-per-view. You know what I mean? If you told me that Orton and AJ had had a WrestleMania match on night one, I'd be like, that's a great WrestleMania caliber match. And here we are on free TV on a Friday getting, two former world champions. And they didn't disappoint. I was a little shocked that Randy picked up the win here. But again, like I said earlier in the episode, I said seems like the biggest star they have on their roster, not named Cody Rhodes right now. So moving him forward will give them the build with more of the bloodline stuff, like you were saying, Scalz. But I was a little shocked that they gave it to Randy. I thought that AJ was going to pick up the win here.
And this is why I think they gave it to Randy, because it's going to lead up to Randy versus Tama Tonga for the finals to get into the final match. And you're going to have Tama beat Randy. And that's how you're going to make Tama a superstar. Whether he wins it or not, him to get to the finals of this tournament by beating Randy Orton, he's set.
Gunther Tama would be, God, that would just be nuts.
Because that would allow Gunther to be Gunther. Or, would allow Gunther to be Walter.
Yeah. A good strong style versus a good European, like British strong style. Like, I think that would work. And I know he's Austrian, guys, but you know what I mean when I say that European strong style of wrestling. Like, get off me.
Cam, any thoughts?
This is fantastic. Back to what Allison was saying earlier, about the, in match injury, I guess, to Randy Orton. No, I don't think he got hurt. Like I said, once again, he's just phenomenal at selling. Like I said, they said the same thing at Chamber, when he kept clutching his back or whatever. So he's just fantastic. He's fantastic at what he does right now. He's on another level since coming back, I think. I'm not surprised that Randy picked up this win. At first, it was kind of a bit of a head scratcher because I basically have been able to predict who was going to win on Raw and SmackDown in these brackets for both men and the women. This match, I was like, I don't know, going into it. But then I thought back to the whole promo that Randy had cut backstage on Tom. I was like, oh, well, then it's going to be Randy. It just makes sense because they're obviously going to play that up. It's a story within the brackets, within the tournament right now. So it's obviously going to be Randy. That's just a shoo-in right now. So, but yeah, great match. They went all out. They didn't hold any punches for sure. I wouldn't mind seeing them definitely have another match again. I honestly, this was the match that I had predicted that was going to happen at Mania between the two of them, because they had kind of like a mini feud going into Mania before they dropped that, based off what happened in the Chamber, and they set up AJ and LA Knight. But yeah, I would definitely want to see this match again between the two of them. Banger match, definitely a great main event.
And Will, what you were saying, Randy Orton versus AJ Styles was a WrestleMania match in 2019.
See? Look, there you have it, ladies and gents. There you have it.
That was the longest WrestleMania in history, but a lot of people don't remember what happened then because no one left the stadium until 1 a.m.
God.
You remember that one? That was when the women main evented. And
yeah, that was Becky. Yeah,
it didn't start till after midnight. And then we saw 2 nights manias after that.
Yep.
Thanks to the pandemic. But yeah. Anything else we want to touch on before we head on out? We've done an hour. We had a good time tonight.
Look at that. Hit your times, professional. I think that WWE continues to cook week after week. For a long time, I said that NXT was one of the most consistent shows on their broadcasts, and now I can happily say that Raw and SmackDown both are starting to put out consistent, good weekly television programming, even if it is a TV show about pro wrestling. I'm okay with it. It's not a wrestling show. It's a TV show about pro wrestling. There's a difference.
At that point, I think it's time we head on out. Will, where can we find you?
First and foremost, as always, thank you, gentlemen, for letting me hang out tonight for Friday Night Review. I am the Will Gray. I'm the host and lead writer of Botch Spots and Share Shots. If you check the link tree in my bio, anywhere you do anything on the internet, you will find everything I do for Botch Spots and Share Shots, Rivet City Radio, Off the Top Media, and my writing profile for Last Word on Sports.
Cam?
You can find me right here on the network on Off Top Media every single Friday night with, of course, Scalz and an ever rotating
whoever we
third,
bring in.
whoever we bring in. Immediately following Friday Night Smackdown, and of course on our sister page on Rivet City Radio every single Monday night with a table spot with the Alpha Wolf Sean and of course Metalcore Mike, and then on Wednesdays after AEW Dynamite with the Boom. Then on my social medias, you can find me on TikTok at Cam's Wrestling Corner. Call me Cam G, and of course Cam's Square Circle Mania. And then on Twitter, you can find me at Cam and Cheese 317. If that does not sizzle your bacon, you can find me on Instagram at 317 Bacon, Eggs, and Cam.
I still love that. I am Scalz. You can find me here on Off the Top Media on both Twitch and YouTube, as well as Off the Top Media _ on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. I am the host of NXT on Tap on Tuesdays right after NXT right here with my co-host Phil the Future and the Ginger Ninja Jaxpo. On Friday nights, me and Cam, we run Friday Night Review with whoever we decide to bring in. I want to thank Will for coming in tonight. I appreciate it. We had some great conversations. We got touched base a lot. We covered everything that happened on SmackDown, as well as a little bit of an AEW discussion. If you guys like what we do here, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share out the information. You can find us anywhere, and we hope to see you guys again soon. Have a great evening.